100 wars fought for this republic. The new Negro, his giant hands spring miracles upon high chambers. His drama teaches the world to laugh and to weep. His science creates the seven wonders. His Republic of Letters challenges the Negro beggars. The new Negro, hard muscle, fascist, hating democracy and soul, strides across the continent in 70 boots across the highway of today towards the promised land of tomorrow. Now we're just going to play some rhythms to get our wonderful event started, and we are in the course of this this event. We're going to also honor those who have made the African reading here in Dallas possible, because they made a lot of sacrifices. They had some challenges even to have an African American reading right here in Dallas. So everybody take a nice deep breath. We're going to channel ancestors. Thank you. Just keep your energy. Go back to it.
Wonderful. Now you go ahead. You're welcome. Thank you. Oh, praise the ancestors for that one. Just bringing the energy into this room. I am so appreciative that we are finally here to probably hosting our fifth African American reading in Dallas off the heels of our great ancestors. I do want you to come up and speak, but I'm going to introduce them. Yes, you have to. This is the National Council of Teachers started an African American reading so many, many years ago. And it's similar to the mission and the goals of Carter G. Woodson when he started Black History Week 100 years ago. We are celebrating a landmark year, 100 years and then 50 years when it was nationally recognized. So 1926 and 1976. And it's on the heels that the teachers, the educators, Carter G. Woodson used to inject African history and African culture back into our curriculum, our programs, into the homes, into the families, into the community. We had to build some type of pride. We were coming out of Reconstruction, so we had to hone in on who we were so we would not go back and repeat it. Freedom and liberation is not passed down through our DNA. We have to fight for it each and every year. So that is why we do the African American Reading, to let us know how important it is to celebrate reading. Reading was at one point banned, and was actually, we were a very literate people. You can't have a David Walker who wrote the David Walker Appeal and said that we were uneducated. It's that power of education and what he wrote and his appeal to the colored people of America that was enslaved across the world, that he injects some type of power and authority within you. And so it is us that we must continue that fight when they suppress that because of the power, because of what led to the revolts and rebellion. It is that energy, and that we must continue to walk in today. So really, this is why we continue the African American Reading, and we continue it with a host of great authors here. We have some of, oh my God, our featured authors today is Phyllis Dixon, my sorority sister. So I know some Deltas, get them out here. Do it now. Okay. And she about this when the Doc Bookshop opened 17 years ago. And both of these women were involved in it. I know they prayed for it because we were surrounded by Borders, Barnes and Noble, half-price books, Walden books, just bookstores everywhere. And they said, oh my gosh, how would you ever survive? But it is that grit and that understanding who we are, and nobody can duplicate us. Nobody can walk in our truth. Nobody can duplicate our culture. We are the culture. We are the people. But so, and then the authors that are coming today with us to join these great women, I thank you for being able to pivot. We have challenges in our community that we must heal. And we must understand that there are still remnants of oppressive mindset. I'm not gonna go there. I'm gonna let it go. But we have to pivot and just let the spirit move. Thank you to Cheryl Smith. I don't know who knows Cheryl Smith out here. Cheryl Smith is okay. She's over the Texas Metro News. One of the longest standing newspaper and journalists in this area. She made it possible. She said, I'm going to make sure you do this African American reading, even if it's not over at the museum, because of leadership changes. And she gave me Dan Anthony's information, and he said, you know what, you sisters have been doing this literary movement for so long and advocating for Texas. We gonna open it up, hook or crook. And they did that today, and you guys came in there, and you guys are showing up. So thank you. Give a round of applause to everybody who's out there. So, today, most of these authors are going to come up and talk about their work. Please, if you have to get 3-4 books, get it, share it with people, take it home, because these are our writers today. These are our voices today. We are in a period that we are reclaiming our literature, because it is in the process of being rewritten and being at the same time. There are so many laws in the state of Texas against libraries. And now they even put one out there against booksellers. So we have a daunting task, and that's what's going to lead me into my next point. And then I'm going to bring up our yes, you got that. We have got to. So it is important for us to vote. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but I will say, in my experience hosting the African American Reading, there was one leader that stood out for me, that came to my call, and that was in 2008 when they released the film Just Mercy, Brian Stevenson's book and his work in Alabama for the exonerated with guilty, not guilty. She came in, and her name was Jasmine Crockett. And she came in, because before her viral moment, she's underground, just getting off. She said, you know what, I'm here for this literacy, I'm here for this reading thing. And she had, in the following year, she said representative. So Jasmine Crockett has been rocking with literacy and being a voice for literacy and reading and an advocate for books. So I do stand by her, not for who she's running against, but nobody heard of that person until she ran against her. But that's just again my politics. Yeah, you ain't heard of the man, and y'all talk, how you gonna make it to somebody that we know? That whether you love her or don't like her, I can say that I'm going to use Sam Houston. Sam Houston said when Texas became the seventh star of the Confederacy, he said, I may not agree with her, but I won't go against her. He was talking about the state of Texas. Now the state of Texas is turning its course to somebody that's Texas tough, and that's Jasmine Crockett. But okay, I'm not telling you that. I'm not telling nobody to go. I'm not going to take my sorority sister. She's our sorority sister. I'm not going to do that. But anyway, I am going to, sis, can you come up? I do what you ask. Yes. You know, even when we open our good store, and I think that's why we've been open for 17 years, because when we first opened up, we did a dinner honoring a Quaker Pan-African. Have anybody been Pan-African? Oh, who's in there? Okay, I need y'all to make it. You know, that's a short trip to Africa. I need y'all to make that business. You know, I support booksellers across the country. I just came from, they appointed me to the board for the American Booksellers Association. I said, at the end of the day, I represent Texas. If you want me up there, if y'all gonna have to, on a national level, y'all gonna have to throw me some rodeo cowboy books or something, reading Other West or something like that. But I think it is, Miss Sonia Babers for Black Bookworm, Emma Rogers. So we honored all of them when we opened our store up. And I just think having her presence here on today, I think it is important to just give the honor to those trailblazers. Because if it had not been for them, they wouldn't have been able to have the baton or somebody to pass it to. So I'm just thankful for you and your presence on today. I mean, please share here.
After all that, my goodness, I'll have to come up. And I thank you, join her in thanking you for being here. Some of you remember the time, not that we were in that time, but you remember some talk about our not being able to read, not wanting to read. But there was a time in the early 1800s and like when black people were brought here, that they were not allowed to read. It was against the law. Can you imagine having a law that says that you cannot read? But fortunately, there were some good white people who hid books, put books in certain places, and when their servants came to visit them, their younger children, they would teach them to read. They had to hide this from their husbands. Some of you are young people. Yesterday I was at an African American meeting, or many of the schools were present, and they were just aghast that, my goodness, there were people who didn't learn to read, could not learn to read, and all of this was open to them. So then they taught us to learn to read, and by hiding the books in different places, and it passed down to different ones of us. I want to tell you now about, again a person that Mr. Ross. How many of you know George Shaw? Oh, you've got to know him. If you don't, you've got to read him. If you've heard of him, he was 98 years old. 98 years old, and lived over here in South Dallas. And do you mind if I take a little time to tell
Go ahead.
story? I brought this for some other people to see. And it says, the most inspiring figures in Black history aren't only found in history books. They're not only found in history books. Let me go back to 1990, when Jerry Scott was a member of the people of and we were trying to think of a project to do with African Americans who were part of the National Council of Teachers in English. So we thought of the read, and we said, why don't we call it the African American Movement? This was because very often, even though Black people had learned to read, and were learning to read still, they were not allowed, well, they were allowed to read, but they were often afraid to read books that were written by Black authors. They would often pick up, many of us would not pick up about books that were written by Black people. Now, you'll have to excuse me, I have to, I don't usually talk like this with a slur of mouth, but I lost my husband about 3 months ago, and my sister right after that, and then a good friend right after that, and I just wasn't drinking enough water, and so forgive me if the words get tangled a little bit. All right. I thought they could hear me back there, but I used to talk very loud.
I can hear you better.
But anyway, in 1990, we decided to have the African American read. And so I came back to Dallas. We would have those different parts of the United States. And I came to Dallas, and we had the first one in 1991 or 92, small avenues of historic events, but of Black people learning how to read and learning and reading books that were written by Black authors. So that went on, and I finally said, you know, we need to have this citywide event. And I was working for the Dallas County Community Colleges at that time, and they said, well, you know, we don't know that Black people will come to anything that is entitled a read-in, because, you know, not many Black people read books. So that's what we're talking about. We are going to have this. So I started in 1994, and it took me 6 years to work on it, to do what I was going to do. All the while, I was having little read-ins throughout the city. But I wanted to have this at the Majestic Theater. Now, I don't know if any of you were at the Majestic Theater. We started the first African-American reading in 1999. But I'll tell you about that in just a minute. But anyway, my friends told me, they said, Carla, you're having us do book bags and books and all these things. So we're not going to have this many people there, but it'll be the first time, and it will be fine. Well, I said, I want you to fill up every tier and of African-American, with the African-American books and the reading, and we were going to have it. And so if they don't come, but those who come will benefit. We'll have the next year. Well, we did have it that year, and we had it, and there were Majestic hosts, about 1,900 people. We had people, they printed it on the wrong date in the newspaper. The Dallas Morning News was very popular then, and it was being sold everywhere. So they printed it on that Saturday, and we were there that Saturday working and putting books together. And there were about 300 or 400 people who were outside we told them, you know, we're not having it today, but we're going to give you a book anyway. So they read the book, and they took the book, and they said they couldn't come back on Sunday, they were having things to do, but they would come. Anyway, we had that, and I'm going to be jumping back and forth, but they came that Saturday of 300 or 400 people on the day that it was not an African-American meeting, but on that Sunday, there was a line all the way around, and it doubled, We had 3,000 people. And that, I was excited. Now, let me back up a bit to 1898. Mr. George Dawson, I read you that quote that he wrote, was 98 years old. And he had reared 4 or 5 children. All had gone to college, and he would sit around the dinner table. It's been all over the world, and the war, one war and then another war, and he would get a letter in the mail, and he'd say, okay, you read this letter and tell me what it says. Well, he couldn't read, but he had ways of, not showing that he could read. So he'd have his children to read, and his wife to read, and they never knew that he could read. And finally, they all went to college, and had great eyes and he never knew he could read. When he became 96, 97, he used to go to, well, he was a little boy and he would go to visit the people they worked for, and they had children, and he would listen very attentively when he would talk about the little boy and the little girl would talk about going to school. And he said, what is that school they're talking about? But he would listen and always wanted to learn to read. Well, someone came to visit his home, well, they lived in the neighborhood, in 19, well, it was 1998. And I went to see him and talk to him, and I was just fascinated with how much he knew. And he said, you know, I've always wanted to learn to read. Well, on the day afterwards, someone came from Lincoln High School to enter the neighborhood to find someone who learned to read. And I mean, who wanted to learn to read, and he was looking for young children or children who were 17 or 18 who had dropped out of school. And he said, yeah. He said, do you know anybody? I want it now. And Mr. Dawson had not been sitting on this porch. He wouldn't have been given the paper that invited them to school. But he said, I want to learn. I want to go. And they said, you do? And they couldn't believe that. And in 90, they said, well, how old are you? And he was 97 years old then. And so he went to school. They were going to pick him up, pick all the folk up in that neighborhood, but they forgot Mr. Dawson that morning. And he was ready to go, anxious to go, until he walked the other way to Lincoln School. He said, I want to learn to read. He got there, Mr. Carl Henry was the teacher there, and he told him, he said, now you learn to read by learning the alphabets first. And he told him, you go home and you learn as many of these alphabets as you can, and then you come back and tell us, and the other kids were talking about those things. But he came in that next day and he knew the whole alphabet. He said it from A to Z. And man, Mr. Henry was just so proud of him, and he said, okay, now we're going to move on. I'm going to shoot you then, and I would let it take a minute. He said, I haven't said it all for you. And he said, well, yes, you did. You said it from A to Z. And boy, we are just, actually, it was a Friday, it was a Monday, it was coming back. And he said, but I haven't said it backwards for you. Now, I dare anyone of these, I can get up and say it back. Say it backwards. Z. What comes after Z? What before it did. Anyway, he said the whole alphabet. Forward and backwards. And he did. And he went to school for 3 years after that. Then over winter, he had never flown an airplane before. Just all kinds of things. Had him do that. And so I went to see him. And I said, we're going to honor you at our first school again. We had it in 1999. That's when all the people came. And we had it for 10 years after that. But I wanted to say that we had Mr. Dawson, who was the president, and he wrote a book, a white man, as a matter of fact, in Washington. His students just couldn't believe that this man was going to school and was learning how to read and to write. And he called him, and he said, may I come to visit you? And he did, and they became very good friends. His family didn't know about this, that it was going to happen, but he came to visit him, and they became very good friends. And Mr. Dawson, at the age of 98, 99, could cook, oh my goodness, he could cook greens and everything, and he did that for him. But they did this, and a number of, as a matter of fact, I've said to the new director of the Cultural Center now, that we're going to get some of the posters that we had Mr. Dawson years ago, because they tell the story. But it says, at age 98, George Dawson decided to make more progress in his life. So he then enrolled in an adult literacy program to pursue his dream of learning to read and write. Mr. Dawson was dedicated and motivated, attending class every day for 3 years. Now remember, he must have been 102, 103 by then, in order to achieve his goal. At age 101, he continued to move forward by writing and publishing an inspirational book. And I don't know if you have that book, but it went out of print a few years ago, but it was Life is So Good. So if you get this book, it's easy to read, fast reading, you will be just amazed at the things that Mr. Dawson remembered. And he and the white man wrote the book together. And he continued to move forward by writing and publishing an inspirational book about his incredible life. So this is the book, one of the pictures that we had of Mr. George Dawson. And he did, but I learned that people do want to know to read. And they came, and believe me, we had white people, black people, Indian people, people from all countries and all backgrounds coming to the weekend. And we met this lovely young lady, she came over to do one of the readings with us, and we were very honored to do so. So I'm just showing you a little bit about him, but please look up. If you just read 20 minutes a day, look up the book, Life is So Good by George Dawson, and it tells you how he learned to read and how well he got out of it. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're gonna have to announce your name because they're asking who is that speaking. You're gonna have to announce your name. They asking who is that speaking in the mic.
Juan Carla Ranger.
Juan- Empress Juan Carla Ranger.
Thank you.
Juan Carla Ranger. Just Empress Ranger.
Okay. Well, let's give Miss Ranger a hand. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing that history. We appreciate that. And where's that picture? We're gonna just, I don't want you put it on the floor. You got the picture?
Yeah, I didn't want to.
Let's just go ahead and put it over here.
Where's the first?
We can put it on this table.
Right here.
That's just one of several that I have to print from.
Yeah. I mean, that's the inspiration. Now that's a story about literacy right there. Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you. How many people didn't know about George Dawson? Okay, but now you know about George Dawson. And there's also a school named after him in Southland.
Yes, right. As a matter of fact, she's trying to take the name from him.
She said Southlake. I was like surprised.
They're trying to take the name away from him, as your president.
Yeah, they just kind of changing things to children. Yeah, that's crazy, but. Okay, but yeah, that's interesting. I know it's interesting, but yeah, it's cool.
Did you say Desmond Crockett?
Huh?
Did you say Desmond Crockett?
I did talk about you.
I just wanted to shoot.
Okay, we talked. Yeah, I did say Jasmine Crockett.
Okay. Well, you know, we can't help, it's part of our culture, you know what I'm saying, so it all goes together. Okay, we're gonna continue the program. Again, we want to introduce some of our authors to you. I want to bring them forward. We're gonna introduce some nonfiction authors, and they're just gonna share a little bit about themselves, a little bit about their book. They may do a quick reading. They know they got about 2 to 3 minutes because we're kind of behind on time. So come, Yolanda Smith is coming forward to share about her book.
It's still morning, good afternoon, but good afternoon. Good afternoon. I know there's some men here, but ladies, I'm gonna talk to you for a minute. How many of you have been so busy taking care of life that you forgot to just breathe? Taking care of everybody else, home, work, family. I know I've been there. Again, my name is Yolanda Wilson Smith, and I'm your life purpose coach. And I help women through my books and speaking engagement just to exhale, to breathe, and reconnect with God. It's not about adding more to your life, but it's about finding space, creating space for yourself just to what? Breathe. My latest book is Unplug and Exhale. Busy women seeking faith, balance, and gratitude. And I'm just going to read a small excerpt because Donna already told me I probably in 30 seconds at this point. But it's day 3, and it says, no stress, just rest. And the scripture from this, because it's a devotional book, come unto me, all that you labor and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. And the devotion for this day, let's face it, life be life in at times. Dedicate some me time to reset. Our bodies weren't built on, to run on empty. You will let your phone, hit 1%, right, without charging it. So why do we treat our bodies so differently? If you want to know more, come in the back.
Okay, let's keep on. Thank you, that was wonderful. Thank you for setting the example. Channelie, Channelie or Channelie?
Shanley.
Channelie?
Shanley.
Channelie. Okay, Channelie Scott.
Hi, I'm Shanley Scott, and I am an author of Mommy in Waiting. And the title, Don't Let It Afraid You If You're Not a Person Who's Waiting on to Be a Mom. It's really a book about the waiting season. And so I talk about the emotional aspect of waiting. And so each chapter is labeled with faith, anger, doubt, desire, all the various emotions. And I always, at the very end of each devotion, ask the reader, where are you in your stage of the waiting, right? And so when we pray, we ask the Lord for our desire, and we're like, where's that, Lord? What's going on? So that's what this book is all about, and that's what it's like. So, so if you do know someone that is waiting to be a mom, if they're in the in-between time, then they can pick up my book. I've had people read it that's not waiting to be a mother, and they tell me how much it has really helped them just on their waiting journey. So yes, she set an example. So let me let me make sure myself. And so in the devotion, I also explored the women in the Bible that was barren. So this chapter or this devotion that I'm going to read, I talk about Isaac and Rebecca. And I said, Isaac prayed to the Lord on behalf of his wife, asking for her to become pregnant. Rebecca became pregnant. Our husband is on this journey with us. He has hopes of becoming a father too. One way to involve your husband in the process, besides the obvious, is by having him pray over the situation. He can petition God on your behalf, as Isaac did for Rebecca. I love it when my husband prays for me. It makes me feel as safe and protected as a wife can be. So if you want to hear more about it, or just want to talk to me a little bit more, then come and see me in the back. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Channelie. All right, and next we have Pamela Porter.
Hi, everyone. I have a quick question. Anybody going through some things? Could anybody use a little grace? As Donna said, my name is Pamela Porter, and my book is called Walking in Grace. And this book is a testimony that God would not let me keep to myself. He gave it to me to share. So that's why I'm here today. I was healed and I had liver failure. And I really wasn't supposed to be here, but God. So I have learned that walking in grace is not a destination. It's the journey of walking with God. And He provides that grace, whether we're in the valley or on the other side of even something as huge as healing. So I want to share just a brief, yes, that is a little bit about when I was in ICU and they had told my husband that he would probably not be taking me home alive because it just did not look good. But again, but God. I couldn't sleep at night, so this begins by, once again, the sleep thief won. So there I lay, deep breathing and examining shadows cast by the monitor lights and the slightly tilted blinds of the ICU nurses' windows. The faint glow of my room at night, combined with the promise of hours of awake time, meant I had too much time to consider the seriousness of my condition. In those moments, the Holy Spirit's comfort came in the form of sweet visions of me and my family and friends. Nothing special, just everyday moments. Sorry, I'm a newbie, so I gotta figure out how to handle all these things. Sorry about that. just everyday moments. I thank God for reminding me of my blessings and my reasons to fight for my life, when suddenly a vacuum of darkness and silence overtook the room. Straining to detect any light or shadows I had studied earlier, I was met with a veil of blackness and deafening silence. As my heart began pounding, sweat beads gathered on my forehead, and fear crept up my spine, exploding in my heart and spreading across my chest. Questions tangled in my mind like the unraveled skein of yarn at the mercy of a cat at play. Confusion overrode them all. Was I fainting? Was I dying? I'd done a lot of talking about dying, but I'd honestly had no idea what the actual moment would feel like. My trembling hands gripped the cool bed rail, steadying me. I was still alive, and I was not asleep. The comforting hug of my inflatable mattress was the assurance of that fact. But wait, what's happening? I can't feel that mattress anymore. I opened my mouth to call for my husband, Ralph, but was met with no voice. I was convinced that I had yelled, but only his steady breathing faded into the silence. The Holy Spirit's peace enveloped me like a welcome, overdue, warm blanket. This peace was a gentle embrace, yet a more powerful peace than I had ever experienced in my life. No more questions, no more fear, only his peace.
That's good.
That was beautiful. Okay, we have a quick announcement. I know the parking is challenging, so, he's gonna make a quick announcement because there's a car that's parked and is blocking another business, so.
Hello, everyone. Across the street, we have several other businesses, and one of the business owners just sent a picture of an Infinity. It's a white Infinity van, plates TTY 6017. If that rings out to anybody, we also have parking for anyone, and this is just FYI, we also have parking at the Fair Park ground across the street. Okay, yeah, so we have Fair Park parking as well. Anyone who have anyone else coming in and they're trying to find parking, just let them know that we have gate 5, it says on the Fair Park grounds. You can actually park inside of there, and it's a short, just cross the street into the building, right? So thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you. Okay, so let's keep it going. Let's give our nonfiction faith and inspiration authors a hand. Thank you for sharing. We're going to keep it going. We're going to introduce our features, and then we're going to do we have a musical guest here. Our beloved Rama. If you don't know, you need to know Rama. She has a beautiful voice, and she's going to grace us with her voice. And then we'll take a short break, just so you can kind of chit chat a little bit more. Don't leave, okay? Because we have, we're going to introduce our drama authors and then our poets. So I'm so excited though that we have national, I'm gonna say national bestseller because she's been in business forever. Sheila Goss is here, and she's a fiction author. Just come, Sheila, come forward. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, your book, and again, thank you for being here. Because you traveled in, so we appreciate it. Book support.
Thank you for that introduction. I'm not a stranger to Dallas. I used to live here for 15 years. I'm right across the state line in Shreveport, Louisiana, my hometown. And as she said, I've been doing this for quite a few years, probably since, this is like my I want to say about my 26th or 27th book worth of written. Yeah. And I write in multiple genres. This one here is women's fiction or romance, but mainly women's fiction. A little brief history about myself. I am actually shy, so it takes a lot for me to get in front of people. But I love reading, and I love talking about books. whether I'm talking to young people or older people. And I want to encourage us to encourage younger people to read more because I've come in contact with so many young people that don't read. And so that's why it's so important to have things like this so we can come rejuvenate ourselves so we can go back out into the communities and speak with the young people. But I know I'm here to talk about my book, but I just had to kind of put that plug in there about encouraging young people to read. Worth the Risk is my new baby. It's basically it's the first book in a 3-book collection. You can read them independently or together. And I like to write about Black women that are just like a lot of us in this room. I know back in the day, a lot of times, especially with me when I was a little girl, I used to sneak and read my aunt's Harlequin books. And a lot of times they were just mainly damsel in distress. Well, I like about powerful women, women who go to work every day, who some people consider to be independent. But one thing that they all have in common, they still want to be in love with the right man. So that has been my task to write about women that are powerful, yet they still have that soft side to them that want to be loved. And the men, I write about strong Black men that we all would be proud to call our men if it was our man. So I know a lot of men think that, we bash men in our books, but we don't. Not in my books. I've made it a point that I always show positive Black men in my books as well. So some of the men out there, you can buy these for some of your loved ones. The Worth the Risk, again, is it's about this young lady, Charlotte Richards. She's like a Hollywood manager, and she falls in love with an R&B singer. Just imagine someone like Usher, someone like that, and they come with a lot of drama. But what a lot of people, well, let me back up a little bit. I used to be an entertainment writer as well. I got a chance to interview and talk to a whole bunch of different celebrities, and I got a chance to become friends with some. And I realized, I'm like, you know what, you're like everybody else, but people are so fascinated with celebrities that we put them on pedestals. Everything they do is scrutinized. They can't even go to the bathroom without somebody saying something bad. Like right now, it's like a little feud going on between 50 Cent and T.I. Even if you don't even know who those people are, you know them now because it's been all over social media. So every little thing they do is scrutinized. But what I wanted to do is actually humanize celebrities so that we can, they have feelings just like we do. And I know my time is limited. I'm not going to read an excerpt because I really want you to just read the book. So I am back there, and if you get a chance, just stop at the table. Okay, thank you, Sheila Goss. And thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we also have another national bestselling author here, y'all. Her name is Phyllis Dixon, and she'll tell you every book she's written. But come, Phyllis, we're so excited you're here. Thank you for coming to California as well. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I bring you greetings from Memphis, Tennessee.
Hey.
By way of Milwaukee, which where I'm born. By way of Houston, which is where I lived for 13 years. And by way of Arkansas, I live there also. So now yeah, Uncle Sam. I work for Uncle Sam. So. But like I say, I'm in Memphis, and the title of my newest book is my 5th novel, and it's titled Something in the Water. And it's a story of a family that leaves California due to some family issues. And so they moved to a small town in Texas. So it's relatable for everybody in here, so that means you can all get a copy. But they moved to a small town in Texas, and they run into some issues. And one of the issues that they run into is contaminated water. So think of like Flint, Michigan. So I'll read you the back, so it's quicker than an excerpt. Buried secrets, environmental disaster, and a legacy of corruption hit too close to home when a California native and her family make a fresh start in small town Texas and find trouble just beneath the promising surface. As director of an award-winning investigative news radio show, Billy Jordan is used to helping others fight trouble. But she faces her own when the radio station is sold and she's unable to find another job. Their savings dwindle as she and her husband struggle to help their son overcome an opioid addiction. When her husband gets a professorship at an HBU in his hometown, they relocate to get a fresh start. Billy slowly adjusts to a cubicle workspace, sweltering Texas heat, and accepting y'all as a word. All is well until severe storms cause massive destruction and contaminate the town's water supply, making it unsafe to drink. Billy learns water walls and boiled water notices have existed for years. In her new job at a local bank, she finds connections between money, power, and family are as dirty as the water. Warned to mind her own business, she remains persistent and discovers a shocking cover-up. Even more shocking is who's involved and the extent to which they'll go to protect their interests. Billy has always advocated for the people over the powerful, but when her son gets in trouble, her silence can make it go away. With her son's freedom at stake and mounting tensions threatening her marriage, she'll need all her resources and skills to save her family and expose corruption if conspiracy doesn't drown her first. And this was partly inspired by Sand Branch, which is a community in Dallas County, which I was not familiar with until I started working on the book, that has never had running water to this day. So it's my understanding that it was started in the 1800s as a freedman's town, and they were fine being left alone, but during the 60s and 70s, industrial plants and all that has contaminated their water. And so like I said, to this day, they don't have water. And one of my visits here, actually my daughter lives here, and grandchildren. And so I went to Sand Branch to see it. I say some authors get to go to exotic places in Paris to research their writing, and I got to go to Sand Branch Day. But it just looks like, a regular little small town, but it's right in the shadow of downtown. And so again, as with so many things, Black and brown people do not have the same resources and are treated unfairly when it comes to resources. And so when I wrote this was in 2022, and but now the environment that we're in now, the Environmental Protection Agency, they're rolling back protections. So the book is very timely with what's going on now as well. So, sometimes we think of environmentalism and solar power and all that stuff is kind of, other people's stuff, and we don't have time to deal with that. But really, anything like that, Black and brown people suffer more than others. So something in the water, stop by my table, and it's good to be here with you all. It's nice and warm here too. Thank you all.
All right, well, thank you. Thank you so much. So if we get a chance, definitely visit all the authors and show some love to those who traveled in. We appreciate you for coming. We want to just take a moment to enjoy Rama. We'll get some music, and then we'll let you all mix some mingle, get some refreshments, go to the bathroom, whatever you got to do. But don't leave, because we need you to come back, because we got some exciting authors that you have yet to meet. And they're going to come forward and share with you as well. And young men, we're so proud to see y'all. We are. Such that, you know what, we got some gifts for y'all. Y'all stop by the Doc Bookshop table. Okay, we got some gifts for y'all. Okay, so Rama, are you ready? We love Rama. Rama, we have every Tuesday at the Doc Bookshop. We have Doc Open Mic, and she is one of our faithful artists that come and support. And she's just an angel. She really is. She's just so, she's so sweet. But her voice is beautiful. So I'm going to turn it over to you and let you do your thing. And then,
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How y'all doing? Y'all doing all right? My name is Rama Al-Kamil. I also go by Rama the Alchemist. And I just want to start out by thanking the Doc Bookshop, Miss Danya, Miss Donna, for hosting this event so round of applause to I'm so appreciative of everything y'all do for the community generally. Y'all give us the space to come together and to share stories and to encourage people to extend their education um, and the importance of being educated because nobody can take your knowledge from you. And similarly, nobody can take your joy away from you. Joy is so sacred, Black joy is so sacred. I feel it connects us with our ancestors. And, it's it is something to be cherished during, dark times. So I was inspired by this topic of Black joy, so I made a song about it. And this is the first time I'm performing this song here today, so I'm excited to share with y'all. It's a new song, and it's called Embedded.
Woo! It's called
Embedded. Yes. I know you want to just wait a I know you're looking for a reason why you smile. Just for a second, every moment's worthwhile. I still smile, broken smile, I still smile, broken smile, I still smile. I still smile like a child, like a child, free as well. Like a child, happy smile. Thank you. Thank you. I also have one more song to share with y'all today. It's titled As I Am, and it was inspired by just being authentic to yourself and staying true to yourself.
Robert, real quick, pause that for a second. Is anybody driving a gray Mazda with a handicap? Okay, nobody. Okay, you need to start the song. Okay.
Take me as I am, all flaws gone. Like birds pick a tree, covered in debris, with leaves on the ground. You'll understand. Take me as I am. Scars meant to be seen, these stories you'll read. A pretty girl, dimples and no eyes, hey, skinny legs with heels small in size. They say they mean, but me comes in threes, maybe even four. Let me to explore. There are parts with infinite faces. I staring back, comparing like faces. Same destiny at different paces. Rushing, not sure why the race is not sure if I'll make it. So take me as I am. Oh, flowers know. Like birds pick a tree covered in debris with leaves on the ground. Woo! I know you're hearing me, won't you take that? Oh, running over feeling tiny like a tight trap. It's still me and you. When we are free, we are to be who we want to be. So won't you take me as I am. Wishing we're meant to be. I am loving everybody. Truth in everybody. So take me as I am. Take me as I am. Of love's know. Like birds pick a tree covered in debris with leaves on the ground. And you'll understand. Take me as I am. Stars meant to be seen, these stories you read, and meant to believe.
I asked her to perform that song, especially for Black History Month. We celebrated Cicely Tyson's centennial celebration when she turned 100 years old in December. I think it was maybe a year or so ago. Her memoir was called Just As I Am, and she ironically had a book, Take Me As I Am, and she performed that. It was virtual, but it was Abiodun Oyewole who was doing a conversation about Cicely Tyson because she had transitioned. And she sung that song for Abiodun Oyewole, and he said, I can't, that voice is just so majestic. I mean, he was saying all, so I said, oh, you gotta shoot that song for Black as we close out Black History Month, and I think she just has a beautiful voice. So Rhonda, thank you as always. Let's continue to encourage her, please follow her. Did you give out your social media? No, okay.
Don't get it, so leave the phone. But that online stuff is important. Just call it out.
You can find me online at Rama the Optimist. It's spelled R-A-M-A, the and Optimist is spelled A-L-K-H-A-M-I-S-T to mirror my last name.
And they are by way of, do I say the country or no? You know what I'm saying?
Sudan.
Okay, by way of Sudan, they are here, so long history and legacy, and I'm happy that they go beyond stereotypes and really connect to the community. So that is truly important of what she's doing. And she's at our store probably every Tuesday, just continually the conversation, and she's working on her education. So thank you so much. Boo, so please mix and mingle, come back, and I'm hearing King Shakur. If anybody know King Shakur, he's a poet in this area. He said that they're going to have some free food. So I am going to go verify that, but he said like the first 100 is free, but everybody don't make a mad cash. So, but I believe that is the case. So he just did an event in Fort Worth, last weekend, or so, yeah. And so, yeah, so mix and mingle and come back, yeah, 10 minutes. 10 minutes, we'll be back in 10 minutes. 10 minutes, and we're gonna be doing interviews, if anybody wanna do an interview, a conversation interview about getting out the vote or whatever's on your heart. All right, thanks. Please visit the authors, we have authors that have traveled from afar. Please visit our authors. And if you have a reading group or a book club, get multiple copies and share it with your book club. And don't forget, we have our Poet Greg Hill that's in the hallway, so mix and mingle, get multiple books for your book club or reading group. Let's do this thing for, Black History Month. Thanks, Laura. How you doing? If you know, give us something for 10. I don't think we did on the office. All right, stand. Yeah, on that second table right there. I'll get. Nice to see you. No, you see how people over here. It's like, okay, no, I'm not getting money to live. Like, that's the only reason I'm leaving. Because people like, oh, I thought you were going to leave. I would leave without saying bye to people or whatever. You don't care, I'm leaving. That's the whole reason why I'm leaving. Because I'm in traveling here. It's like, I'm here. Yeah, well, it's has some stuff wrong with the house has been out for long. You know, with their okay, but the law is sad. She just comes from because she probably she around there today. It's like her and she's very smart. So she didn't come because she ended up in the same home. Here you find the family, see there, she has the big thing out there. She definitely still talking if he was he could never explain it.
That's
I just was broken. They had me let go of this now. I just stay here for my life. And then it's actually standpoint. So I just want to get the same things. I mean, I'm sure you know, I'm going to take a lot of pain for back out of my hour. So I'm not literally in the icon. You are in the icon. And in fact, you got to get out of So I just wanted to say, I just, you put me in, yeah,
Do some refreshments, refreshment table, have yourself some refreshments, y'all got some. It's for me? Okay. You know, talk.
Do you want some water? Some water?
Yes. I need to drink that, then I'll have to go. Yeah, because I have a- Okay, family, we're gonna resume our introductions. I want you to meet all of our wonderful authors. So, continue, you're gonna be buying the book, continue to buy the book. And if you're just chit chatting, come on, let's gather so we can continue meeting our authors. I'm gonna ask you to use the library voice for those who are doing commerce, use the library voice. Okay. All right, so we're going to continue on with our fiction, and I'm going to ask Arthur Gatlin and Randolph Poole to come forward. Arthur Gatlin and Randolph Poole. I'm going to ask them, these are dramas and thriller fiction, and we're so glad you're here.
Randall, here he comes. Eartha, you busy back there? Okay. Okay, here she comes. Okay, let's continue. Now, let's use our library voice. Okay, it's stupid thing. Okay, that works too. Okay. All right, so again, we don't want to interfere with commerce because we are, So talk in your library voice, but we want to continue with our author introductions. And we're going to hear from some more awesome fiction authors. And I'm going to let Eartha go first. Because, yeah, because Randolph, you're a quiet character, so we're going to let her go first. We love him, but I got a whole story for him. Okay, Eartha, now your book, honey, is on the throne. Well, okay, I want to hear about this one. Okay.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming out, supporting all of us as authors. We are a unique breed. We like being alone. I believe I can speak for a lot of us. We don't really like being in front of a crowd. It's why we're writers, right? But at any rate, I'm giving my best shot. My book today that I'm going to talk about is Grown Woman. This is my fourth book. I've been writing for quite some time. I started out just journaling, and I've always loved reading and using my imagination. And I love reading. Before I knew anything about ISBNs or film sizes or editing, any of those things, I was an avid reader. I don't understand anybody today that says, I don't read. I'm like, how could you not? How do you know? You just don't know anyhow. This is what I always say. You should read something. But at any rate, that's my spiel on that, right? My first book was part of a 3-book series. My character's name is Bria Twan. The first book was The Chronicles of Bria Twan. Then I went into some others based off of the life of Bria Twan and her experiences. It was about this woman becoming herself, living her authentic self as she had to overcome some insecurities and things of that nature. Now we get into Grown a Woman. Now this woman, she is being her authentic self. She has no insecurities, I'll put it that way. She, along with her friends, I'll just read the back of it. At 64, gallery owner Joni Townsend has survived 2 failed marriages, launched a thriving business, and celebrated the power of friendship. But when modern dating, let's be clear, dating with its helicopter wild dates and cryptic texts enters the picture, she's determined to live life on her own terms. Now here's our friend Tremaine. She's 70 and a retired professor. She refuses to be tamed. She's independent, sharp-toned, and refusing to apologize. She's navigating singleness and occasional sparks with fierce honesty. Then there's Dana. Dana is the corporate career, and she is in a long-term marriage. While she's the voice of reason for both of the single ladies. Again, one is 64, one's 70, and then there's Dana, 51, and married. She's the one with the long-term marriage. While she's the voice of reason for her single friends, she's not immune to the pull of fresh perspectives and vulnerability. Now, together, these women discover that love at any age demands tough boundaries, courage, and self-respect. They explore online dating, rebound flings, some other possibilities, always reminding themselves, as a grown-ass woman, doesn't get played. With humor, heart, and hard-earned wisdom, they show that dating later in life at a grown-ass age isn't about settling, but it's about thriving. So pick up the book, find out the journey of these women, and I hope you would enjoy the read. Okay, let's keep the train moving. All right, then go.
Good afternoon. I, first of all, want to thank Danya and Donna, as well as the Bookshop, for the remarkable work that they do and allowing us debut authors, which is what I am, the opportunity to express themselves and give them a platform to showcase their work. My book, The Provident Event, was actually written over 20 years ago. At the time, I was living in Harlem, New York. I was caring for my brother who was battling cancer. And as the cancer progressed, so did his mental state, to the point where he became vegetative and could no longer communicate with me. I refused to leave the hospital room and stayed by his side. And in that staying by his side, my book was birthed. I started writing, and this is the product of that writing. This is about love that is not returned, betrayal, threats to family. The night was wet with rain. Screeching tires were heard in the distance. Horns sounded their caution. Sirens echoed the air with cries for help. A helicopter could be heard overhead. Hurried footsteps splattered the wet pavement below as pedestrians sought shelter from the deluge. A thunderous roar made its presence known. Lightning lit up the dark and dreary night, if only but for a split second. The wind howled its fury. An ominous silence filled the parking garage, interrupted by a reverberating drip of water, its source unknown. It was a late September evening. Mr. Coffee was in a hurry to get home. Why was he in a hurry to get home? Buy the book and you'll find out.
We just love the red dog. We'll fight for that one. All right, so we'll keep it moving. Next, we're going to introduce our children's authors. We have Courtney Kelly and oh gosh, and I love her. Ayoka. Ayoka. I didn't know that. Ayoka.
It looks nothing like the way it sounds.
Right, look at this. Ajay. Ayoka Ajay. She's such a beautiful, beautiful spirited person. I thank you. Okay, so we're gonna say Courtney for last. We're gonna bring up Ayoka Ajay. That's it.
Ayoka.
Ayoka.
I chose the I, the yolk of an egg, up.
And what I love about her is she also does signing. She did a wonderful, beautiful book signing at our store, and she deals with ASA, American Sign Language, and she did that. And it was just really nice. So anyway, go ahead, talk about your book. Wonderful.
Hello, my name is Ayoka Ajay. And so I wanted to ask, does anyone know anyone who is deaf or hard of hearing? Can I get a show of hands? Okay, there's a few of you. And so my book is called God Made with American Sign Language. And so I grew up learning sign language. My brother is deaf. And so the book is talking about the creation story, and you get to learn the signs of everything that God made. And so the whole point of it, my premise is for children to be able to read a book with their parents. So the statistic is 90% of children who are born deaf, their parents are not deaf. And with that, about 75% of the parents do not teach their children sign language. So you imagine a deaf child growing up in a house and no one knows sign language and they cannot communicate with anybody. And the statistic is higher with Black families. And so my whole goal of writing this book is for parents to be able to read a book with their child and to learn sign language. So that way, even if you don't know, you will learn throughout the book. And so my character's name is Jasmine. And so Jasmine is just taking you on a journey of everything that God made. And so that is my book.
Okay. Who can say your name?
Ayoka.
Ayoka Ajay. Ayoka Ajay.
Oh, I'll teach you the sign for God made.
Okay, okay, yes, teach us some sign language.
Okay, so you put your hand, kind of is 5 pounds, and you have it straight up front, and then God.
Oh, this is God right here?
Yeah, God.
I need to do this.
And then make, so 2 fists, put on top of each other, and then do a circle. Made. Made. So, God made. And that is my book.
Thank you so much. And you have such a pretty smile. Courtney Kelly. Now, this is one of our favorites. We love some Courtney Kelly. She's been with us since she's been in our class. So, yeah, you got two stories, two titles, right?
They're on my way.
Okay, come and tell us about your books.
Yeah.
Courtney Kelly.
I love these ladies. So whenever they need me to do it when I can. Every time they call me on the senior board, I was like, yo, I can't be there tomorrow. But I've been rocking with them. I released my first book, Celeste in the City, in 22, and then I released Celeste Swims on the Ground in 24. Before I tell you about my books, I just want to say there are a lot of new authors. Just raise your hand if it's your first author, then it's just the release of your first book. Yeah, so we're about half and half. Yeah, give it up for them. So I just want to encourage you guys. I was in your shoes back in 22. I'm self-published. I sold over 7,000 copies of my books. They're in 4 different languages: English, German, French, and Spanish, across 16 countries, audiobook, ebook, the whole 9. So just use me as inspiration. Use the doc as inspiration. Like things like today happen, right? But look at us. Look at all of you. Thank you for showing up, for supporting a doc and supporting local authors, especially during the end of Black History Month. Like, this just fills my heart. It's like what was meant for evil has now turned for good. And this is just a true testament of that. So now I'll actually tell you about my books. This is my first book, Celeste Saves the City. It's actually based on my life. Little Celeste is growing up in New Orleans and Hurricane Katrina hit, so she has to evacuate with her family. Determined to make a difference, Celeste decides to become a civil engineer who saves the city from flooding by building wetlands and barrier islands. Celeste doesn't stop there because she has to keep going on with different missions. And she moves to Dallas, where she's trying to fight traffic congestion. Y'all know traffic around here is a hot mess. So Celeste decides to build tunnels. And before building her tunnel in Dallas, she actually travels the world, showcasing to kids that it's okay, 1, for you to be an engineer, 2, for you to travel the world and explore different things, before coming back to Dallas to build a tunnel of her own. But she's not going to stop there. Celeste Paves the Way will be out in July of this year, and it is based on my experiences working at airports, both Lovefield Airport and Dallas-Fort Worth here in Dallas. Celeste is actually going to be in Atlanta. It's the busiest airport in the world, Hartsfield-Jackson, doing a runway replacement project, and just, again, showing some kids what's possible in engineering and STEM and now in aerospace. So feel free to come check me out. I'm in the back corner. Courtney Kelly Books. You can also follow me online, Courtney Kelly Books, everywhere. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Courtney Kelly. Yeah, she's a Hurricane Katrina survivor. Okay, thank you, thank you. That was our children authors. I give them a hand. Children authors, thank you so much. We are going to keep it moving. Now we have our poets. And we got Robin J. and Drake Hill. They're going to talk about their works. And I guess you're going to share some poetry. So I'm kind of just do one at a time. Yeah, we're going to do one at a time. Okay. So Robin J., come forward, my dear. Talk about your work. Share your poetry. And we love Robin. Robin's also a part of our Dr. Mike Tuesday night family. And we just appreciate all that she does. In fact, she picked me here. She was organized. I said, "Ooh, she's my friend." So,
Hi, everybody. Sorry, I can't do two things at one time, so I gotta say something. But my name is Robin Day. Just to give you a little bit about me, I was born in Wichita, Kansas. I moved to New Orleans. I lived there for a few years, and then we came to Texas, and so here I am. I am a two-time author. My first book is called Poetry for the Soul, and it's just poetry about everyday life, the good and the bad, love, pain, and all of that. And then my second book came from my first book. It's called The Book of BS. And I cuss a lot and I use the word a lot. So it's in a lot of my poetry. So I took those poems out of my first book and I was like, what am I going to do with these? So I decided to do The Book of BS. This book talks about BS, how to deal with it, with our own BS and all of that. It's also, I can't, I'm sorry. I tried to make my books interactive, so it's pages in here for you to write on, to engage in the book. It teaches you about poetry. There's some self-reflections, different types of poetry, haiku, concrete, and all of that. And then I'm going to read a quick poem for you guys. And this is a new piece that I have been working on. And it'll kind of give you a kind of a flavor of my poetry. And this poem is called Black is Black. My black is beautiful. It's different and unique. It's like your black and his black and her black. Black wears many shades. Ebony runs dark and smooth like the earth's richest soils. Vanilla shines vivid, yet it's warmed by the sun. Each shade dipped in history nobody could ever erase. Damn, I love your shade too. Black is black. It's covered in beauty, dressed in resilience and grace. It's gifted with confidence no one can deny. Black shows up like the afternoon sun, blazing bright and beaming in your eyes. Black is beautiful like the velvet night sky. Black is cotton fields to classrooms. Black is chains to championships. Black is black. It stands tall. It is impossible to ignore. Black is the Doc Bookshop standing 17 years strong. It's Medgar Evers and civil rights sit-ins and boycotts. It's Martin, Bloody Sundays, marches, and I Have a Dream. It's Jesse and Keep Hope Alive, R.I.P. Black is beautiful. Black is strong. Black is black. Your black, my black, our black. Black is black. And it has endured all. Black is our past and our present. Black is forevermore in peace. And you can find me, y'all can find me at poetryforthesoul.net/poetry. Get your own events and how to purchase my books. I do have a table set up back there, so if y'all want to come and get a book. If you purchase a book today, you do get a free journal that you can. And I appreciate the Doc Bookshop. I've been going there the last year and a half, and I love Danya and Donna and all that they offer and all they do for the community. And not enjoying it.
thank you, Robin J. Yeah, they're gonna come out and keep you tonight and check her out. She's an awesome poet. I tried to get her to host, but she shot me down. You know, I'll come back at it now. Okay. Oh, our beloved Dre Hill. Now, I will fight you for this one too. Come on, Dre. Share. She, now you have how many books? 5 now. 5 books. Now, you were Richardson again.
All right, how y'all doing? Okay, so I'm a teacher by trade, and so I do that to my kids every day. And when I don't like the energy, I'm like, let's run it back. So let's try this again. How y'all doing? That's much better. That's much better. I love it. I love to see everybody out here. So again, my name is Dre Hill. I'll start with the contact info and things. So you can find me on socials at Dre Hill Art, DREHILLART. My website is also drehillart.com. I have 5 books of poetry out currently. I'm working on both 6 6 through 9, I think, currently. I read a lot, I juggle a lot, I do a lot, and I can't stop. So really quickly, we'll go through a synopsis of the books, and then I'll squeeze in maybe 2 poems. Sorry, I'm not organized. I got in early this morning and came straight here, so I am. Thank you, thank you. Birthday was yesterday. My birthday was yesterday, so I flew out and I flew back in this morning because I couldn't miss this commitment. So I'm still getting organized, but bear with me a little bit. Okay. All right, so first book that I published back in 2022 is a book of poems about love and relationships and romance and all that stuff. It's called I Living in Something. I don't have copies of it with me, but you can find it online. And then what I do is I typically will sell copies on hand in events like this, but also if you follow me on socials, you can always DM me and be like, hey, you have a copy of it? I'll meet you or I'll ship it to you. No worries, no problems. Second book that came out, this was in I think 2023, Melanin Black. And originally this came out with a publisher. That publisher went under, unfortunately, so I re-released it this last year. So new cover, couple of new pieces in there. And this is actually a combination of poetry, yes, but also prose. So there's some stories and some short pieces in there as well. This book came out in 2023, but it's actually the first book that I wrote. It's a book of poems, my first full length about navigating life. And I was a 20-something who had just graduated college, and I said, okay, great, I got this degree, but I don't know everything. So like, what am I doing? Somebody tell me what's going on. Like figure it out. So okay, great, thank you. That was money well spent. So it's just kind of a chronicle of my life up until that point, and also like trying to figure out where I'm going from there. You know, dealing with relationships and family, grief, mourning, stress, all of those dynamics. This book came out in January of 2024. It is a chapbook of poems about mental health, dealing with mental health, stigma, and really just my hope and goal for it is to allow people to feel seen, but also to open up dialogue. Because so often in our community spaces, we don't talk about it, or it's very much like we don't talk about it. Like not that we don't talk about it, but don't talk about that. Like, and so in navigating what I've learned, what I've heard, some of my own experiences through the poems in this book, my hope is that we can go from we don't talk about it to let's talk about it. We need to talk about it. And so even if one person picks it up, reads it, and is like, hey, we need to have that conversation, then my work is done with that. And then lastly, this book right here, I'm really proud of this one because this one came out in October on Halloween, so it's still fresh. It's my little baby. It's called When We Feel We Exist. And Miss Yolanda back there talks about in her journal about needing to like just stop and breathe and take care of yourself. And the poems in that book are very similar. I was at a period of my life, I guess I still am, but it was very much like, I'm just going, I'm out of breath, what's going on? And I realized that I'm doing so much. There's so many things that I want to get done, that I have done, that I hope to do in the future. But have I really taken the time to appreciate like where I've come from, what I've done so far, where I see myself going? And so these poems are all about, you know, slowing down, taking a moment to enjoy life for what it is, and experiencing the moments that we so often overlook. And so what was really important to me with this book was creating a cover that I feel like conceptualized that. And so you see a bunch of Black young men and boys laying in a field of grass, and they're relaxing. And that's kind of like the state of mind that I want us to be in, like finding time to be laid out in the grass, just sitting in the sun, absorbing that ray, relaxing, at peace. Okay. So quickly, if I have time, I'm going to read 2. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to read 2 poems really fast. One is going to be from When We Feel We Exist, and then another one will be a new one that I actually wrote this month. And actually, Rama inspired me because she sang about joy. And one thing that I really love about us is our expressions of joy. And, you know, when you get together with your group, with your friends, with your family, whoever, and you get to laughing and kikiing and cackling, and that becomes funnier than the joke or the experience because everybody's embodiment of joy is hilarious. And so I wrote a poem about that called Laughter. Unbridled joy begins with deep-seated guffaws, searching the throat canal, seeking a means of escape. Or maybe it's a squeal, some kind of pitchy shriek, scaring all whom are left on the outside of the joke. This unbridled joy leads to laying on of hands, like committing the body to God. This joy runs like rivers, with bodies in flights, limbs flowing every which way. This is unbridled joy. Unbridled joy. Thank you. Thank you. And then, in a similar vein, I attempted a writing challenge to write every day this month, and I got to day 15, and I said, I cannot do this. I'm sorry. So I had to gracefully bow out. But on day 5, the prompt was essentially like writing a poem or writing a letter to the next generation, the future generation, and what would you want to tell them? How would you want to breathe life into them? And so, kind of tying it back to when we feel we exist and the idea and concept of joy. I like the innocence that youth have, and just the way that they're able to be so pure and have so much fun. And so I wrote this poem, and it's called Young and Black Forever. Stay right here, in this moment. Let it stretch on forever, longer even than the meals mama might make when dollars ain't making much sense. Longer than sleepovers with your friends, cousins, play cousin, sibling, family member. Longer than those summer months, full of play dates, camping trips, Six Flags, and staying up late. Let this moment stretch into infinity. Precious innocence and experienced with the weight of the world aiming to crush you between its thumbs. Save this baby forever. This angel. This ball of light glowing inside of different shades of brown, basking under street lamps before racing home, slathered up slick with sunscreen, massaged in by soft hands before send-offs out the door. Stay right here, young and black. Stay that way forever, in every season, lifetime, experience. So again, I'm Drake Hill. You can find me at Drake Hill Art and drakehillart.com. My table is actually right outside, so feel free to come chat it up with me, talk poetry, maybe buy a book or several. You get a discount if you do, just saying. And again, thank you to the doc for this event and for always championing like everybody. I'm probably the youngest person in here. And even when I first started writing and sharing and then actually started publishing, they were one of the first spaces and venues that really opened the door for me and allowed me to cultivate. And so one of the things that I really appreciate about that experience is if there's something going on, Jerry, come on, we need you. But in that experience, I get to then be that reflection to my peers and to the next generation in the same way that you guys back there are. So thank you. Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for listening. And again, come see me outside. Okay, bye.
Okay, we're going to, you know what we've got to do, y'all? We've got to read the National Black Anthem for real, or at the opening. So we're going to do that. So I need about 10 readers. And then after that, Diane's going to close out with Black Political Thought. And then we're going to visit with our authors again. So, okay, y'all. So come on, just give me 10. Okay. Don't be shy. Come forward, Rama. Come. We're going to do this together. 10. I need 10 because each person going to read 3 lines. Yeah. Okay. So stand on this side, and we're gonna pass this way. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's 3. I need 7 more. I'm just saying, 7 more. Double up. 7 more. Oh, Yolanda, thank you. Thank you. Okay, come on, come on. Yes, okay, there's my 10. Okay. All right, so you're gonna kick it off. You're gonna pass the phone. Okay, y'all, now remember, this is a read-in, so I'm gonna read the lyrics to the African American, or what we call the Black National Anthem. Y'all don't want me to sing it. I'm not a singer. So for the camera's sake, we're gonna stand right here, read 3 lines, and then pass the phone. Okay? All right. Just kind of stand up. Okay. Let there be voice and sing, till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty.
Let our rejoicing rise, high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us, facing the rising sun of our new day begun.
Let us march on to victory's won. Stoning the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod.
Felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat, have not our weary feet. Come to the place for which our Father sighed. We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughter.
Out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast.
Okay. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who has brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the light. Keep us forever in the path we pray. I didn't count enough. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we meet thee. Our hearts drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadowed beneath thy hand, may we forever stand. True to our God, true to our native land. Thank you all for participating. Now we gotta get that in, y'all. We forgot to do it at the beginning. Okay, so Danya, we're gonna give a quick talk on a Black thought. We got about 3 minutes.
Oh my God. Okay. Y'all know I was wordy in the very beginning.
Yeah, that's why I meant 3 minutes. And we're gonna give time for the authors. Again, I'd like to thank all the authors that came and everybody that just pivoted and came to the South Dallas Cultural Center. And it's just an amazing environment. I just thought this was a godsend. I actually, this time of year, used to come to the South Dallas Cultural Center, and we used to have the Reawakening. Was it with Actual Crazy? What was it? The African Reawakening Conference.
Third Eye?
Yeah, Third Eye, but it was called the Reawakening Conference. But I thought, I've been going over Black political thought as we move into this election cycle and election year. This is a book I did a review on this book back in 2019 with Ron Pinder. She is a professor out of Cal Bakersfield, I think. But I've always been fascinated with David Walker and what he was able to conquer. And in this book, um, she has divided it up into 6 parts. 6 parts. Each section examines how the key questions that inform Black political thinking. This collection engages with systems, structure, epistemology. I don't know. That's epistemology is the study of what's true and what's real and what's false, the falsehood. So, and ideology and the discourse of Black unequal positioning. It examines slavery and its discontent. And as we go into the 250 years, we are dealing with discontent with the American people and British. But now we have to recognize our own reality because in 1776, Blacks were not free. Blacks were still shackled. And so this is the discourse that this talks about. So as we celebrate our 250th semi-annual quincentennial celebration, we have to keep in mind our history and what we've experienced and how we want to reimagine our future. She also goes over the Reconstruction period, Black nationalism, race and racism, feminism, indifference, and she also looked at the past, the present, and the future issues, and how these issues are motivated and continue to motivate Black political thinking. I know I'm short on time, but I do want to go over the section. I really like the section, this is Ida B. Wells, and her section, dealing with everybody know Ida B. Wells, right? And dealing with this section, she deals with the reality of what our experience have been in this country and keeping that on the forefront. Sometimes we tend to forget our historical experiences and how our historical experience have got to just focus on our political agenda. And I think foundationally, if we don't understand our history, we cannot come together and create an agenda. And that has been our failure, is not to come up with a clear agenda for what we want for African people with this type of experience. None other experience, nobody has had the experience that we've had across the world. So we have to keep our foundation of who we are and our experience on the forefront. And I'm just going to read this excerpt, these 2 paragraphs. It's short and long at the same time, but I'm going slow because it's a lot of information. Ida B. Wells, February 13th, 1893 speech, lynch laws in all of its phases, delivered it at Tremont Temple in Boston, Massachusetts, and published the same year in Our Daily magazine, revealed the true motivation for anti-Black mob violence in the South. Wells contended that contrary to racial uplift narrative that emphasized the moral development of Black folk as foundational to citizenship, white supremacy ensured that Black folk will perpetually be foreclosed in exercising their full rights. Racial uplift became a leading force in Black political thought between 1880 and 1920. The following statement by Nannie Helen Burroughs sums up this political project. The race that fails to do all within its powers to help itself will never rise. God does not do for us what we can do for ourselves. Through a combination of self-help, moral reform, social political organization, institution building, and community development, Blacks struggle to radically improve their living condition, ensure group survival, and challenge racist structures that circumscribe their life chances. Civic and political activism programs for literary, institutional, and social reform and the formation of clubs and organizations flourished. Racial self-help doctrine required Black bourgeois women to engage in philanthropy, welfare, educational, and mutual aid activity to remedy the problems of Black community. In turn, poor Blacks were instructed to pour their meager resources, save their earnings, sacrifice the good of the community, and patronize, support Black-owned businesses. As well noted about Blacks in Memphis, honest conviction, cooperation, hard labor, and patience bore fruit. In the form of nice homes, a Black presence in most branches of business and the profession, urban social life, and vibrant Black enterprise, Thus, the Black masses must strive to support Black bourgeois institutions and aims while the educated class is obligated to model the values, ethics, and self-formation that would have saved the race from degradation and vice. And I read that she's talking about Black businesses and help of Black businesses and what we all can do collectively. I say that as a small business owner, and today we have sacrificed our businesses to pop-ups and vendors. Nothing wrong with that, but we have to keep that retail representation. We have to support politicians that's going to support the small business. Right now, we end up pop-ups and vendors while our community is taken over by Arabs, Asians, and Eastern Europeans. We cannot sacrifice ourselves. They're feeding us because we have to support retail business. We have to keep retail representation alive. We have to challenge our politicians to support these small businesses. And we have got to tell our leaders in the so-called bourgeoisie that depend on African American, that have an African American platform, that deal with 100 Black African American audience, and that want to take money from the billionaires to put into our community. Well, do that with your actions. I have met so many booksellers right now that will say these things, have these platforms, but at the end of the day will not work with Black-owned booksellers. That's not true in just my industry. That's in a lot of industry. So we have to ask our politicians, to talk the talk, walk the walk, especially when you're dealing with these people that, in my industry, in the book industry, politicians, the CEO, entertainers, and athletes, they all reach the epitome of their career, but at the end of the day, guess what they do? They turn into authors and artists, and they have relationships with a lot of our politicians. So we have to challenge those politicians to not only use their platform to motivate them, but use their platform to help some of these small businesses. This is the bourgeoisie that we're talking about. Can you come back and help the small businesses? And we have to challenge that. And I had to call this out. We had Clay Cane was here. At the end of the day, Clay Cane had a 100% Black platform, a 100% Black audience. But when he came here to do his book tour, he did not use a Black bookseller. And so we have got to, it's not me that can be the only one that calls us out. Everybody that's listening to him, that listens to his show and says, why did you not use a Black bookseller when you came to Texas? This is what our political thinking is. You can't get on a platform talking about Jasmine Crockett this and Jasmine Crockett that. There's people that voted her into power. Now you have to use your platform to support those businesses that are supporting her. Because at the end of the day, you're talking about billionaires, but you literally did your book signing with I can't stop what a small business doing. But that's Prospero's daughter. So you, in a sense, put money back into a billionaire's hand. That's what you did. And so, when I look at, I know I have. So when I look at Ida B. Wells and I look at her challenges just in her own community, I can't remember the full story, but there was a business that lost their business because the white business owner was mad that they were getting all the business, and so they killed the brother. And so she fought against, that's when she initiated fighting against lynching. But I want to say that we cannot take our foot off the gas. We have to continue to put forward. We have to continue to call out these things that are not good in our community, are not good for us. I know, I probably understand that the brother meaning no harm, but I called it out, and there's opportunity to fix the problem. And the thing is, the problem did not get fixed. And me as a bookseller, I have a whole bunch of events going on. We have a lot of events, but I was willing to, on principle, carve out an opportunity for him to build at the bookstore instead of doing them at an offsite with that. So, and then, and I study a lot. They end up taking the event to a church, the First Unitarian Church. Well, the First Unitarian Church, the history of their church is we are abolitionists, but we want economic dollars, reparation for those people that was enslaved. So we did not even do the economic part And when you took it to the First Unitarian Church, because their history dictates that we want reparation for these people that have been shackled, subjugated, disenfranchised, lost their families, and, taken from their homeland, lost their language, just stripped from every dignity and essence of their life. And so we have, it may be small, but it's small. It may be small, but at the end of the day, I challenge all these authors, as it stands now, as you talk about Black issues, on a Black agenda, support Black economics. And I challenge all these authors in my industry, and you might have shared whatever your respective industry, stop with the 13th colony book tour. We deserve to be Texas, deserve to be writers and voices in those rooms. We deserve to be at the table, and that's the cause. That's what I'm pushing within my industry, and you have to see what you can push within your industry or your respective area of work. Thank you, Johnny.
We can order you a copy, but if you're interested, but it is definitely a must-have in your life. Okay, well, you know, at this point, we're going to visit again with our authors. Again, give it up for our authors that are here. Thank you for sharing your story, your book. Thank you for introducing yourself to new readers. Thank you, audience. Let's give our audience a hand. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. Definitely meet and greet. As we close out, we got about an hour. So, okay, let's say 30 minutes. We're gonna wrap it up. You're gonna be out of here by 3. So about 30 minutes, we're gonna meet and greet, and then we're gonna, you can start shutting down. Okay, thank you so much. Baba, did you have anything you want to say? Wait a minute. Baba, you got anything you want to say?
Well, I tell you what,
Come forward. This is our elder right here. Let me see
I'm not that old though.
No, he's not. He's about 21.
I'm older than many.
Okay.
There was a great man who represented this South Dallas community so well, and I would be remiss not to mention his name and invite his spirit to join us. And of course, many of you know Brother Al Lipscomb.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So he was a dear friend to all of us. And the street was Grand Avenue, which really wasn't that grand, but it was renamed to Albert Lipscomb, our illustrious city councilman for many years. And I was asked to write a poem in his honor. And I said, well, how much time do I have to create this one? I said, well, the dedication is going to be this Saturday, and this was already Wednesday. So I had to hurry up and put some thoughts together. And I only shared this one time. I think the event was close to 15 years ago. So allow me to, this is our last day officially of Black History Month. But let's say tomorrow, March the 1st, we'll start the next cycle of Black History Year, okay? To next February the 1st. So please let me just share this poem that I wrote in Al Lipscomb's honor. Let's see if I can find it. I think of him so often because he did so much and he sacrificed so much for this community. I call this the Lion of South Dallas, dedicated to Mr. Al Lipscomb. There was a time, those of us who have memories of the turbulent 60s, you must agree that this was an era defined by hard-fought civil rights legislation, fearless protesters singing songs and chants to energize the demonstrations. There was inadequate housing, education, discrimination, inner-city agitation, bigotry, brutality, assassinations, shameful church incinerations, acts of hate and violence broadcast nightly on network TV. All praises to the courage of the NAACP, SNCC, SCLC, the Black Panther Party, and all other protectors of the people living in vulnerable communities. Then the 70s came in, and I came to Texas too, an energetic college freshman looking for something positive to do. folks told me South Dallas is where the action is at. So I hopped on this 55 Lancaster bus, and within an hour, I was there. Oakland Avenue, Forest Avenue, Green Parent Restaurant, pools, homes, record shops, barber shops, boutiques. I smell some good barbecue. Somebody's burning some good weed, too. I'm walking down Pennsylvania Avenue, and I see this wooden house. And there in the front was a sign, South Dallas Information Center. And there was a big post on the wall. It read, Al Lipscomb for mayor. I spoke to the guy behind the desk, and he said, are you new to the community? I said, yeah, what can I do? And just then, another man walked in, and he had salt and pepper hair. And the guy was the man on the post. And I shook his hands, and there was some powerful energy there. He handed me a stack of leaflets and voter registration cards, and we walked through several neighborhoods going door to door. I'd never done anything like this before. The campaign was fierce, and although Al did not win, thousands of registered voters were now having a voice. Al was a powerhouse politician on top of all incidences of injustice, unfair housing, unemployment, discrimination, neighborhood neglect, student expulsions, police misconduct, disrespect from the poor. If you mistreated our people, the lion would roar. He challenged unfair policies like no one else had ever done before. And every few weeks we would see Al on local news being escorted from city hall chambers for disruptive behavior. Once again, when the time was right, a brand new campaign came to life. Al Lipscomb for city council. And that race was tight, but the South Dallas community knew what had to be done. The people went to the polls in huge numbers, and Al won. Al never lost his fire, never got soft. He went toe-to-toe with every major mayor who tried to be too much of a boss. And when the haters tried to smear his political campaign, his conviction was overturned and his reputation was cleared. We will never forget and forever honor this old warrior of our world-famous community. Tell the stories to our children about his remarkable legacy. Albert Lewis Lipscomb, or simply Brother Al, the shining black prince of our Dallas, Texas community. Thank you. And there were so many others during Black History Month, and not just this month, but continuously, I want you folks to share the stories and the legacies with our notable, our fearless politicians, civil rights workers, educators, scientists. You know, we have a huge challenge when it comes to the education of our children. So many of our kids are several grade levels behind right now. Reading scores, science, math. So let's do what we can to energize them. Take the children when you can, and grandchildren, take them to the libraries, get them off of those tablets, because the tablets were designed to keep us behind. You know, so I'm thankful for everybody. All of our writers and all of our literary folks who are in the business of elevating our intellect by the spoken word and by the written word. And also, I also want to make mention that Miss Carla Ranger here. I'm so glad that she was able to be here. Her husband was a good friend of mine, former judge. Marcus Ranger, former attorney. I call him a judge because he did more than most judges did, but he was a celebrated attorney. One time, the director of the local NAACP here in Dallas. So, and then Miss Kathleen Gillum and so many others. So know the history of our Dallas leaders as well as all of the other leaders of our country. So thank you all for being a part of here. I'm a griot, so my job is to share history. But I can't do this alone. I need so many other griots, parents, and everybody else to be a part of what we're doing. And tomorrow there's going to be a special recognition of another sister. She was an educator. Her name was Miss Imani Pomoja. So up on the 7th floor of the Dallas Public Library, we're gonna have tribute to Miss Imani Pomoja. And it's going to start at 12 noon, so come on through if you can. But thank you all, and I want to thank the Doc family for making this happen. And I love you so much. Keep doing what you're doing. Bookstores are in Davis speaking. Tomorrow at the downtown library, yes. Thank you all.
I'm gonna close it out. Okay, we have, I do want to give the brother a chance to make a quick announcement about this. And this is for a lot for the authors, the publishing companies. If we're, we got about 60 seconds.
Very much. My name is Timothy Davis. I'm going to kick it off because I think I'll be remiss by saying kudos to all the authors because it is a very vulnerable place to put out your words to the world. If you're an artist, you don't have people hear them, right? So that you expect to courage and integrity and your truth. So kudos to all of that. A round of applause, I think, for those folks. And of course, to our hosts, because we would be nothing without our supporters. So thank you so much. My name again is Timothy Davis. I am an editor for a literary magazine called Neon and Smoke. And we publish poets, we publish authors, and we publish visual artists. And our intent was to provide voice to those that are marginalized, so brown and black and LGBTQ and those living with a disability and all of those, because at this time, those voices are being decreased. There's less space for those voices. And so ours is a journal that we hope that we can connect with folks like yourselves. So if you enjoy writing, if you enjoy reading, if you know people who are trying to get their voice out, their work out, their poetry out, please see us. Again, my name is Timothy Davis. The magazine is called Neon and Smoke. You can find us online. You can also find us on Blue Sky and Instagram. Thank you so much.
And last but not least, I do want to, if there's any book clubs in the room, I know there is at least one in the room, but is there any more book clubs in the room? Okay, I'm going to go ahead. LaWanna with Black Prose, Keeping It Real, is in the room. She has probably one of the longest, she has the longest running books. So please stand up, LaWanna. And stand up, stand up. Don't be trying to have a side conversation with Sheila. 2013 author of the year, that's why I came to see her. Oh, see, that's what I'm talking about, and we would have known that if you just sat quietly in your seat. And she has been, her book club is what, how many years it's been? You celebrated 26 years. 26 years in August. Wow, 26 years in 2026. Dynamic. So kudos to you. Any other book clubs in this community, in this area? If you're interested, okay. If you're interested in forming a book club, she will probably answer any questions before you get out there and get started. What book club are you in? You in a book club?
I Student Soul. I was saying I Student Soul Book Club.
Oh, okay.
And I think we might be 30 years old now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have to look it up on Facebook. But yeah, I Student Soul, a co-ed book club. It kind of started out of Black Images, but a lot of people have gotten older. We only are meeting like once every 3 months. We need to meet more.
Okay.
And we meet at Black-owned restaurants and try to patronize Black-owned businesses. But look us up on Facebook. Yeah.
And King Shakur, I think he had an announcement, but he probably stepped away. He has his play that's about to start. Did he step away, Drake?
Yeah.
Okay. I think he has a play. It's a lot going on around the cultural center, but please shop our authors, have conversations, get contact information. If you want to do a video.
I was saying the play is called Men Crying in the Car. It's about men holding in their feelings, of Black men, expressing their feelings.
Yeah, it touches on Black men mental health. Mm-hmm. So it's a great play. I mean, great discussion, production. They did it at the Doc Bookshop last week, and I learned so much. It was powerful. Okay, you got any other announcements? We do have a event with 2 Chainz coming up It's going to be March 7th. If anybody, it's called The Voices in My Head. We're calling that 2 Chainz Day, actually, because we're going to be in Dallas. There's going to be in Fort Worth at 3 and in Dallas at 7. So if you're interested, definitely go to the website, look at the information, get your book. But yeah, we're going to be all day with 2 Chainz. We have a lot of events coming up in March. It's crazy. So I would just, if you can follow us on, at least give us your digital currency and follow us on Instagram and on Facebook, the Doc Bookshop, as well as we do have a membership program, a great dynamic membership program that starts at $5 and go all the way up to $300.
Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, whatever you want to do, it's different levels to that, but that helps us continue to work not only in the literary arts, but to be advocates and to just give opportunities for writers in this community and actually across the country, because people that are seeing us today are looking at the authors here and supporting the authors, whether online or reaching out to them. So our work is done through a lot with our membership. So thank you.
Okay, and that concludes, well, that's to conclude, because we got 30 minutes. I want you all to please visit with our authors, meet and greet. And again, thank you all for coming out.
Let me get you up there.
In spite of the
I want to come this way. Okay. This side is teaching. I need somebody to say
You know what? I'm gonna get that. I tapped on Facebook.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna take it for you.
You mean,
Yeah.